Let's talk about Troy Franklin.
Stidham has time, lofts one, sideline, it's caught. Troy Franklin into the end zone, touchdown Broncos, and a beautiful ball right on time from Jarrett Stidham again. 10 plays already over 10 yards. Now Stidham wants the end zone, back shoulder, it is caught. Troy Franklin. It's another dime for Jarrett Stidham, and he finds Franklin again for a beautiful touchdown.
Boy, talk about turning the light switch. What happened with Troy Franklin, guys? Where has he grown to at this point?
Been fun to watch, man, for a guy that could not have had a worse rookie training camp, for a guy that literally got yelled at as much as anybody I've ever seen at his rookie training camp. To evolve like this, it's been fun. You said at some point earlier in the show that he's a bona fide number 2 on this team. I think he's about a really good argument. And you keep this up, at some point, it's impossible to ignore. I do think that Devon Vele is still your number 2. I think you roll with the guys that you know early on in the season. But, boy, Troy Franklin's been a lot of fun to watch, and I hope he continues this because I do think he brings something else to the table than Devon Vele does.
Here is Sean Payton on Troy.
Yeah, it's happening. And I'm excited. You know, I think we just got to be smart because he's playing 2 spots. But he's had a really good camp. He's confident, you know, and I've said this a bunch of times. It has to happen on the field. And you guys that have covered this team or any other team, like you see it in the preseason every year, some players that begin to make some plays and it carries over. And so that's why these games are important. You know, obviously it's challenging when you're not going to play your starting group, but when you see growth like that in every year, you know, we don't know who those players are going to be, but he played well tonight.
Has he given the coaches something to think about?
Yes.
For sure.
Let me just say this, because I said during the summer we were talking about this, and everybody was wrecking on the wide receiving core of the Broncos. Remember, Payton came out and said, I like those guys in that room. So I guess it was right before the draft. And I said, well, what if Franklin develops? What if he takes another step forward like Mims did between his first and second year?
Mm-hmm.
I think Franklin's done it, and I'm not even sure as a pure wide receiver, Tyler, it isn't even a bigger trajectory than even Mims did, because Mims did have success in special teams his rookie year. I listen. You know, and I knew he believes in himself. Last day of camp, do you remember what he wore on his feet?
One green, one orange.
Yeah, one green, one orange shoe. And that was following the week before. We had the 2 Oregon shoes that you were talking about, the 2 bright neon green.
He wore those at the game also.
Yeah, and then we had to spat it up, though. But then comes out against Arizona. He's got an orange and a green. I'm like, oh, he's feeling himself right now.
Yeah, the wide receiver room, man. I mean, this is where the roster manipulation game gets really fascinating. You would love to only carry 5 wide receivers, but I don't think they have a choice but to carry 6.
Yeah,
they got to carry all those guys. Now, on game day, you probably only have 5 that are actually active. So who's going to be the healthy scratch every week? That's going to be fascinating. I mean, your conversation for the healthy scratch is Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Trent Sherfield, and Devon Vele.
Listen, it's about receivers too. And now we'll go back to arguing with our 3 running backs. That third guy is going to be your best pass receiver. Don't you guys think?
You hope Dobbins and Harvey are good pass receivers.
Well, I think they're good too, but I think that third guy better be able to do that. And
Sure,
saying that, I think McLaughlin and Beatty both showed that they can do that too. So,
I'm not overly concerned about who the third running back's going to be, period. I don't know how much he's going to play.
I think you've got some good options. I mean, you could sell me on Jaleel McLaughlin as the third. You could sell me on Tyler Bidet as the third. I like Blake Watson. I probably wouldn't make him the third, but, you know, you've got some pretty good options.
So Estime is just gone.
Oh, Estime's toast.
Estime gone.
Yeah, he toast.
Okay.
Pack your bags.
Well,
unless in the next 10 days he can prove he can play some fullback.
Maybe,
especially
but I
if
mean,
everybody else is hurt to start the season.
What's far more likely than that, if you don't want to carry a fullback, you'll just have one of your tight ends play it.
Oh, they're going to carry a fullback, though. They signed that Prentice guy and Adam Prentice, and they're waiting for Burton to get better with the hammy and Adkins. They're kind of in a tough spot because Adkins and Burton, both their guys who play that position are both kind of down right now and probably not playing against New Orleans, and they probably have something that they need a fullback for. So, okay, fine. Not worried about it. What's more exciting than anything is the way Troy Franklin is just, demanding to be out on the field.
Yeah, and he brings something different to the table, right? We've got a lot of similar bodies out there, and Devon Vele, Cortland Sutton, Pat Bryant. Troy Franklin's a different type of player.
Ooh. Yeah, he's their size with about 2 seconds faster.
I swear that dude grew over the offseason. I do not remember him looking that tall last year.
I agree with you. Like, thinking of him as 6'3", it was kind of weird. Like, this is dumb, I know. I always thought of him as the same size as Marvin Mims, which is stupid.
Now, listen.
I think it's 6'2". Is it 6'3"?
Yeah,
I thought 6'3", but it might be 6'2". I had a buddy of mine play for Bobby Knight in Indiana, and he said something that I think was so wise, and we'll see if I can relate it to Troy Franklin. Guy was bummed after practice because Knight was just all in him. And I think it was Ted Kitchell told the guy, he said, listen, don't listen to how he says things, listen to what he's saying. He said, just remember this, when he stops yelling at you, you're done.
Okay.
Well, who was the hardest guy that Sean Payton was on last year in training camp?
Oh, I mean, Franklin was getting ripped every day.
Right.
But not just by Sean Payton, by the way.
But if maybe they didn't think they had something in Troy Franklin, do they waste their energy on that?
Well, when the Broncos passed on a couple of, highly regarded draft picks for Pat Bryant, it's not just because they like Pat Bryant. It's also because they like the guys they have.
Yeah.
And this is another I told you so moment from Sean Payton. Like, we're good here. So I do believe they really believed in Troy Franklin, and they were seeing enough. It just wasn't coming together until kind of, very near the end, in the playoffs. But whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, even last year, as hard as those coaches were riding him, I never once thought that meant that they didn't like the guy. Scott, you probably told young players something similar, but I always tell the guys that I'm coaching, hey, don't worry when I'm yelling at you.
Yeah.
You worry, stop. You worry when I stop yelling at you. Because when I stop yelling at you, that's when I don't believe in you.
And that's why in hindsight, looking back, as hard as Dmac just pointed out, everybody was on Troy Franklin. I think they saw something before any of us did.
They list him at 6'3", but it does feel like he's taller.
And he's fast.
And he's fast. And he's getting open and he's catching the ball. And he's making tough catches.
Yeah, he has made a couple tough ones.
So, hey, man, way to go. He's catching the ones that he's wide open. He's catching the hard ones. And it is ironic that his connection is really with Jarrett Stidham, not with Bo Nix, who was his,
Well, listen, I said this last Friday. My biggest concern, Bo Nix, and Tyler backed me up on this, he's staring down 14 way too much now, and he's got to get a lot more people involved.
I'll give you a yes and a no. I agree he's done that. And I agree that he has tossed a lot of interceptions, specifically trying to target
Cortland
Sutton. But I, generally speaking, don't have a beef with having a whoopee. I really don't.
No. I got you. Have a whoopee. Shannon Sharp. Listen, in John Elway's day, he had McCaffrey and Rod Smith, pretty good receivers. But when it was 3rd and 7 in Pittsburgh and you needed a first down because you've lost all momentum, he went to the whoopee, and that was Shannon Sharp. So I have no problem with whoopies, but sometime that whoopie's going to be covered.
Yep.
What's funny is the whole, run the ball sort of thing. You got so many weapons on offense to throw the ball to. We'll see how Sean really sticks to the I'm going to run the ball more. We'll see. We'll see about that. It might pile up if they can get the lead like they did. Like Audric Estimé had 10 carries or something like that. What do you have? Did I get that wrong? He got 9, sorry. 9 for 20 yards. And Blake Watson got 10 carries. But look when all those carries came. It was like, the game was already done.